Hey guys, welcome back to the Fun-Filled Day of English. It's me again, Mr. Lewis, your host. Going to do some verb review or some 3.1 kinds of verbs. That'll be our video for today. We're going to go ahead and get started here and show us what we got to do about some verbs. We're going to learn about some verbs today. You know that every sentence has a verb, and the verb tells what the subject has, does, feels, or is. Okay, and our examples right here would be Ed and Iris raise vegetables. Notice right here, raise is telling us what Ed and Iris are doing. All right, another example is they feel happy. Notice again that feel is telling us what they did. Okay, so feel would be our verb and raise would be our verb. Verbs express action or being. An action verb tells what the subject has or does. An action verb can express physical or mental actions. All right, verbs like run, right here, run, and look express physical action. Verbs like think and dream express mental action. And basically, physical action is something that you can do. Mental action is something that you think or feel. Okay, so here's an example. Farmers plow fields. Notice here, this farmer is plowing the field. That's what he's doing. So plow would be our verb. Gardeners plant seeds. Notice right here, this is our verb right here because it's telling us what the gardener is doing. All right, those are physical forms of verbs, forms of action verbs. Mental form would be farmers fear drought. Notice again, fear right here is a mental thing. It's something that we are thinking about, but it's not something, it's not something that we're doing. It's just something that we're thinking about. So it's a mental action verb. And they hope for rain is the same thing right here. All right, this is a mental action, what they are hoping to do. All right. A being verb does not refer to action, but describes a state of being. It tells what the subject is or feels. Verbs such as be, feel, appear, become, and seem express being. All right, so make sure we understand that being verb does not refer to an action. It describes a state of being. All right, in other words, what you are doing. This crop is ready for harvest. So the state of being, it is. And because of that, that is our verb right there. The tomatoes feel soft. All right, that's a state of being. You're not thinking that, all right, and you can't physically do that. And since you aren't thinking it and you can't physically do it, this is a being verb. All right, the beans look healthy. Again, this is a state of being verb. And the onions smell. That's a good thing. That's another thing there. A verb that expresses being is called a linking verb when it links the subject with the word in the predicate. The word in the predicate describes or identifies the subject. So here we go. Dill is, where are you at? Come here. Oh, you're way up there. All right. Dill is an herb. All right. So when we talk about that, we're saying right here that this is a linking verb because it is linking a word in the predicate over here with a word with the subject. Okay. It looks feathery. Same thing. This would be a linking verb here because it is linking a word in the predicate, which is feathery. It is linking it with it. Okay. So that's why looks would be a linking verb here. You can think of linking verbs as equal signs. It's the same type of thing. Pepper is a spice. In other words, is our verb right here, and it's a linking verb because it's linking a word in our predicate with our subject. Okay, and since it's linking a word in our subject in our predicate with our subject, it is a linking verb, and you can think of it as equal signs. So pepper equals a spice. So is, we replaced is in this example with the equal sign, and so that tells us then, okay, that this is a linking verb because it's telling us that pepper equals a spice. It's the same thing. Same thing here. Pepper tastes spicy, and this here again is be an equal sign. Taste would become an equal sign, so that tells us then that that is a linking verb. Okay. Here are some common linking verbs. Here's a list over here. You guys can go ahead and read that. Appear, grow, seem, and taste. You guys can read the whole list, but those are some common linking verbs that we have. Some linking verbs can also be used as action verbs. If you can substitute a form of be for the verb, it is a linking verb. All right, so here we go. The tomato grew moldy. So a form of be would be am, is, are, was, were, be, and been. That's what they're talking about. So if you can substitute one of those words, am, is, I can't write very well with this, are, was, were, be, been, and been. Looks ugly. If you can substitute some of those words right here, then these forms of be right here into the sentence, then it is a linking verb. So tomato grew moldy. The tomato grew moldy. The tomato was moldy. And since we can substitute was for grew, all right, since we can do that, that tells us then that grew would be a linking verb. All right. Jim grows tomatoes. All right. So, but Jim does not equal tomatoes. If we do the equal sign thing, if we say, okay, let's go ahead and check and see if this is a linking verb by saying equals. Jim equals tomatoes is not the same thing. Since it's not the same thing, this is not a linking verb. It is an action verb. Beans taste salty. All right. We can do the equal signs here. Say beans equals salty, and if it does, then that tells us then that this is a linking verb. That taste is a linking verb. But we can also take out taste and substitute one of these be forms right here. If we can do that, then it is also a linking verb, and we can. Beans are salty means the same thing as beans taste salty. So that tells us then that taste is a linking verb. All right. Over here, cook tasted the beans. Now if we take tasted out and do our equal sign, all right, the cook is not the beans. Since the cook is not the beans, that tells us this has to be an action verb, not a linking verb. But even if we try to substitute a word in, one of the be verbs in to see if it makes sense, it's not going to. The cook am the beans? No. The cook are the beans? No. The cook was the beans? No. The cook were the beans? The cook be the beans? The cook bean the beans? The cook been the beans? Doesn't make sense. So that tells you then this has to be an action verb. All right. Wow. Another short video for you. This is your favorite time of day because it's review time, your favorite time of day. Yeah. All right. A verb expresses action, physical or mental, or being. Being verbs are sometimes called linking verbs. All right. A linking verb expresses being. It links the subject with the word and the predicate that describes or identifies the subject. All right, guys. Pretty easy stuff. You should be able to get this down pretty good. Just remember that there should be a quiz popping up anytime now. And once you're done with the quiz, go ahead and make sure that you have a good day, and I'll be seeing you in the future.